It's 9 days ago. It's a custom game. It's
Mhm.
like the only replay if you can find it.
Yeah, I will grab that real quick.
I played Lissandra.
how are you with your champion pool right now? Do you
Really
think you're in
good.
a good place?
I'm really happy with my my champ pool. Um, we have been talking about switching roles though.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah, I
you
don't.
and
Me and Grant. Yep.
yeah,
Desex.
yeah, Desex.
Me going jungle, and so I don't know. Do you think my playstyle would work well in the jungle?
Um, might be
Like
better
the
suited because, like I said, mid laners tend to be really aggressive players.
okay.
That's just how it is, and they also tend to have large egos, which I don't get that from you.
Yeah. No.
Um, but that's actually what makes a good mid laner. Mid laners need egos. Um, not saying that it's just when you see like the best mid laners in the game and how they
Yeah.
play, it's you can definitely tell that they have egos and they play in such a way where they completely disrespect their opponents. Not that I think that you're you're a bad mid laner or anything like that,
No.
but I don't see the the normal aggression from someone who I would say is naturally mid laner.
Yeah. I can understand that. Well,
Alright,
see,
so
I've
custom 9 days
played.
ago, 2-9.
Yep. So I think we're kind of deciding what we should do, and I do think I'll probably end up jungling for, at least for a little bit, just to see how it
Yeah.
works.
Um,
So
just in general, most mid laners will their secondary role is jungle, just because, like I've mentioned earlier, mid and jungle is a duo lane, so it's good to even have knowledge of the jungle. But it just so happens that people who like playing mid also tend to like playing jungle.
okay.
But it's a very like common thing for mid laners to swap to jungle. I've done it before as well. I've actually gone from maining jungle to maining mid repeatedly.
Okay. Well, I think once we go over the replay, maybe
Mhm.
we can go over like a champ pool for jungle, kind of like we did mid,
Yep.
and do that this time.
Okay. Okay. So you want to do jungle this time, right?
Yeah, kind of the same thing we did for their mid, just
Yeah.
jungle, go over
Okay.
like runes of masteries and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And
We'll do that then. We'll watch the replay first, of course. All right. So I'm gonna watch the replay once from your perspective, and then once from the team's perspective. All right.
okay.
You on
It's
my hitbox?
no. One thing real quick. It says sorry the recipient doesn't accept payments using this payment method.
Should be sorry. All right.
Oh, pay for goods or services.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I send money to friends and family or something like that,
Oh, okay.
and that didn't work.
That's fine. So just go to my hitbox when I'll trust that it goes through.
Loading stream. Okay.
Yeah. You see it?
Yep. It's
Yeah.
frozen right now. Are you
Yeah.
paused?
Yeah. I'm paused. Alrighty then. So we'll do the normal analysis that we do beginning the game. So your matchup, your versus Twisted Fate. How's that matchup go?
I actually think I did really well in lane.
Yeah,
I
generally speaking, Twisted Fate kind of loses every lane matchup. So
yeah. I was gonna say I bullied a lot. The problem I had was that I got camped and I didn't have
Mhm.
my jungler pressure the same way.
Okay. So one thing to note, just as a specific thing versus Twisted Fate, because he's my specialty, junglers tend to gank for him a lot.
Yeah.
One, because again his lane matchups are bad, but even though his lane matchups are bad, his gank assist is really good.
Yeah. His
Um,
stun.
and the other reason you want to snowball a Twisted Fate as a jungler, in case you end up playing with one when you jungle, is because if you snowball Twisted Fate, then Twisted Fate will snowball the other lanes. So it's as if you're ganking the other lanes by getting the Twisted Fate ahead. because then the
Yeah,
Twisted Fate can roam for you. So you
that
just get
makes
him
sense.
ahead so he can do your job for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's exactly what they did. So
Yeah. All right.
these are all. I'm pretty sure this was a plat diamond game. All
Yeah.
these guys were plat
Um.
diamond.
So I'll watch the game from your perspective than the team's perspective. But what I will mention is when there's a large skill, like individual skill disparity, it's not much you can really do.
Yeah. I think we did play really well though. I think we just got like kind of beat to the punch every time. Like we did the
Yeah.
right things, they were just doing them better type of deal.
Yeah,
So
that's generally what happens when if you're playing against diamond players. But yeah, so that's your matchup. But you also should do the other matchups too. So you got Sion Jungle versus Rengar.
yeah.
How does that normally go? As for like
Uh
pressure that they apply in the early game and then after 6.
Rengar's a lot. Early game Rengar's not doesn't have too much pressure, I don't think.
Not especially
Uh
with the newer jungle, just because
yeah.
his clear is really bad.
After 6 though, he
Mhm.
does really well.
Yes,
Cyan
that's
is
pretty
the
much the
same
same.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So how about your bot lane? You got
Bot lane I think we win. I mean champ wise.
mm, Corki is a strong champion. But what you need to realize is Caitlyn is the ultimate lane bully and has always been a good pick against Corki specifically.
Okay.
So if your bot lane wins, and that they did a very good job. But Caitlyn, as just a fact, does not lose lane or shouldn't
Yeah.
lose lane. And then you got
If played correctly.
top lane, you got Pantheon
Versus
versus
Akali.
Akali. How's that go?
I think Pantheon should win pre-6.
Yeah, Pantheon should absolutely crush that matchup pre-6. Shouldn't even be close.
I can tell you right now that's not how it goes. But
Yeah, I'm just mentioning like there should be no way that the Pantheon loses. Generally though, if the Akali can get away from the pre-6, generally okay, and then she gets that arm guard, then Hextech, she can start to outscale the Pantheon really easily.
yeah.
Um, generally speaking, I'm guessing what happens this game is that Twisted Fate gets ahead, and then he kind of just snowballs the other lanes, because Pantheon's really easy to gank for Twisted Fate.
Yeah.
Generally speaking as well, I don't think Pantheon top is that great of a pick.
I don't think Twisted Fate did a whole lot actually. Rengar
Yeah,
Rengar was actually really good.
yeah,
And
I
so
mean, yeah, go
he
ahead.
ganked and got a couple kills, and then Akali I think got ahead, and then when we team fought, Akali got like a triple or something like that. And
Yeah. All right, so that's basically all the lane matchups. So as far as team comps, what kind of team comp do they have?
I would say like Poke and Siege. Well, they have 2 assassins, so like
They have a pick comp, generally. Though they have like decent poke with the Twisted Fate Caitlyn, they can't fully siege just because like Rengar and Akali are awful at it.
yeah,
So like they have like half a siege, like
half
they
yeah,
can
half
siege,
and half.
but like not well. And then they're mostly a pick comp just because of the Thresh, Twisted Fate, Rengar, and then the follow-up assassination from Akali. So when
Yeah.
you face comps like this, generally speaking, you need to keep the playmaker champions down. It doesn't really matter how far ahead the Caitlyn gets. Caitlyn's going to be Caitlyn. They don't have a front line, right? That's one
Yeah.
thing you need to note. So no matter how far ahead the Caitlyn gets, if she doesn't have a front line, she can't do what AD carries do. And so in this particular game, you guys would have wanted to focus the TF down and the Akali. Just
Okay.
ignore bot lane. The Akali is the only thing that can make them win this game, I'm going to mention. Like, even if the Twisted Fate gets ahead, he's going to have to use whatever he's ahead to get the Akali ahead. Because if the Akali's behind, then she's actually just a useless champion, and then you can ulti her when she comes into the team fight, and then you guys can just kill them.
Yeah.
So as long as you guys didn't let the Akali snowball, like, that's your game plan. Like, don't let Akali snowball, contain Twisted Fate. Then you guys should have been fine. Your team comp, what kind of team comp is it?
We were going for pick.
Yeah, so
Like
it's a
straight
pretty
pick comp.
good. It's a pretty good pick comp, and then you guys have the mid-game
Semi-team
power
fight.
spike with the.
Yeah.
And then Lysandra is also really good against Akali and Rengar,
Well,
specifically.
that was the pick.
Yeah.
they last picked Twisted Fate, which I didn't see that, but they picked a Kali Rengar before me,
Yeah, no. So Lissandra is like
and
the
so
great pick. Um, Again, I'll just gloss over like the Pantheon top wasn't the strongest pick you guys could have gone
yeah,
for.
I agree.
But we'll keep going here. So that's just basic, the basic game analysis that you do before the game. And I won't mention any of the team stuff. I'll just do your perspective.
Okay. This was
Right, you
they
just kind of
invaded.
base check them. I'll make one note here. When if you're not going to invade like as a team,
Yeah,
then just don't stand here and go like you warded here, I think, or did you?
I warded in the
Yeah.
death
Okay.
bush in
So
front of Dragon.
don't walk into there like that. Basically, you want to stand in this opening where I'm gonna hover my mouse.
Okay.
You just want to stand here, and if they come and invade, you just place your ward and then run away. Right. Otherwise,
Okay.
you just hold the ward and then you know how to run 1 meter just so you place it.
Well, the plan was to invade. I don't know if you watched everybody else, but so I went up there to ward
Mhm.
to see if they invade,
Uh,
and they got there before I could
right.
ward.
So when stuff like that happens, you actually just stay as a 5-man unit. Like don't have one other person peel off to ward.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we had a really bad flank. It was just like a bad call. We went three behind them
yeah,
to
but
just like try and recollapse, and then
yeah, like you guys have like good level 1. It's like it's good because Lissandra's really good. Scion's done.
yeah.
Nautilus, Corki, but then again they have Twisted Fate and Thresh, so it's a pain.
So we just went back to normal. I think, yeah, Corky's the only one that died, and Caitlyn got the kill, so that kind of sucks for bot lane. That probably what lost it for him. We went back over this as a team, and so I kind of noticed where I went wrong.
Yeah.
I placed a really early ward, like an idiot, because I knew, like, I know Rengar doesn't farm that fast, and so I think at like 230 or like 250 or something, I placed the ward,
I think
thinking that
that's
he was
fine.
gonna gank.
Cause if I was that Rengar, like, I would have started red and I would have come mid, and I would have flashed. I would have flashed on you, or had the Twisted Fate Ghost on you, and you would have died. Cause you have no flash. I don't actually think it's a bad play. There's a really big possibility that you get level 2 here, even though it's a Rengar.
Yeah. How do you know which side to ward first? Like, if you don't have any information, do you just kind of make
You
your
just make the
best?
judgment call and
Yeah.
you cheat to the side whatever you ward on. As long as you cheat to the side you're warding on. The safest one though is if you have no information is whatever the second buff of your jungler is, because then when he finishes it, then he can come and help you if
Yeah.
something happens. So
Yeah.
he comes just as it expires.
Yeah.
Alright. Replay your laning phase a little bit here. Some problems with it. Right, so here, basically the Twisted Fate zones himself, and so you don't actually need a Q the wave because you're gonna win the level 2 race anyways. So basically, you hold your Q and you use it for when he goes for last hits. So right here, you should be queued. You should queue the Twisted Fate like right here because you know he's gonna
Okay.
go for this. Whenever you see him going for a weak minion, you just
Okay.
queue him. So like right here, free Q, and you just whenever you hold your Qs. Unless you want to push for a specific reason, like you want the wave to do something, like shove it to the tower and then come back to you. Even though Lissandra can like spam her keys and stuff like that, you really just want to use it to harass the Twisted Fate
Okay.
on every single kind of minion he's trying to get. Also notice he doesn't have MR, so
Is none?
Repraises up till
Oh
dark.
yeah,
No.
32.
Yeah, most mid laners don't run MR anymore. There's range champions generally just take claw second. You're not really gonna be able to get the W off unless you're like under turret.
Yeah.
Versus specifically Twisted Fate, don't line up directly with the minions. Stay away from the minions because he's gonna try and wild card right through them for last hits. And you've been hit by
Yeah.
like 3 of them by now. Oops. Why is it not directing camera? Alright. So, here's probably the mistake that leads to you getting killed. So, you take that harass. So, when the wave's like this, right now, you need to make the decision between either you shoving him into turret and having it come towards you, or you just kind of playing passive and letting it, and kind of just letting it come back to you. So basically, the reason for that is when the wave's like this, you can't really beat. Like Lissandra's kind of a weird champion because she has to queue through the minions to get anything done. So she's always gonna like touch the minion wave. So what ends up happening here is you step up and go for a W and get chunked to half for it.
Yeah.
So that's just a mistrade. But when something like that happens, you need to realize like, oh man, I'm no flash. I'm gonna be down in pots. And so you need to make the decision right now to either hard shove it and use your remaining pot and then back, or just let him push you in.
Okay.
Because either way, like that's what makes you safe from the gank that's about to happen. Because if you shove it in a turn and it's coming back to you, then you won't get ganked. But if you kind of leave it at this standstill phase like this, then he's able to just kind of walk up to you for free and hit that gold card.
That was like perfect timing on the gank too.
Yeah, it was very good timing. But even if he hadn't come there, like just the wave being in that position, like you're pretty much dead at any time.
Good to know.
Alright. So I'll just mention you need to swap to the red trinket right on your first back, but not a big deal.
Yeah, I always forget to do that for some reason.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I don't get it till like second or third back simply just because I forget.
Oh, they did a really, really early dragon.
Oh wait, I called it, and I think we actually made a pretty decent play here.
Nice. Alright. Things are kind of working out.
And then Akali teleported behind us
so you
and kind of
both
cleaned up
TP'd.
everybody. Yeah, this is where Akali got big.
Alright, watch that team fight again to see if you could have played it better. I think E-ing over the wall was kind of
Well,
weird
I
position.
think yeah, it was just simply because like Dragon was so low.
Yeah.
And our jungler was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for I think just to mention how I may have played this team fight is yeah, like the Dragon was really low. But they were leaving the pit anyways because of the TP. So if you actually come around the direction that the Scion's coming, you both get a flank, and then you can E onto these 3. Because that Thresh is dead no matter what. You actually didn't even hit him, right? So if you E onto those 3 and hit the W, and then the Scion's right next to you, you guys win this team fight before the Akali even shows up. Because the bad thing that happens is now you guys are all grouped in this tiny little choke point, and the Dragon's going to auto you guys.
Yeah, and he does AoE damage. We knew that was our problem, is because like the Dragon did a massive amount of damage to all of us.
So the Dragon kind of like wrecks you guys.
Yeah.
So if you come in from the different direction, it's a nice play from the Rengar to try and go in for the flash thing. Ooh. That was a really, really close fight. But yeah, basically if you would flank there, then you guys would kill the Rengar and he wouldn't even gotten the
I'm
drink.
pretty sure that was our jungler's bad because he didn't have smite. He flashed over the wall thinking he had smite.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah. I remember him saying something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was more of a
I never noticed the Dragon had like 200 health.
Damn. Oh damn, that's Scion passive though. Yeah, so basically that one was just a misplayed team fight. But like your idea to go there was fine. It's just you went in from the wrong direction. Wow, it's just fan machine. That's pretty old school. When specifically playing against Twisted Fate, you want to put a green ward right here, where I'm going to hover my mouse. Basically just a lane ward, and what it does is it will let you know if the TF backs off to try and use his ultimate.
Okay.
When you're this low on HP, you simply need to back. Staying at this low means that you're not really capable of participating in any plays that happen.
Okay.
Like if like TF ports somewhere and you need to like shove the turret or go roam.
This was right here. So I just want to pause it right here. The Akali, we got in a fight top and we Sion said to go. I said I was coming, and then I backed off because the wave was pushing, and I didn't know what to do, and I ended up getting our top killed. And
Alright.
Akali got another kill.
So if the wave's pushing like that, what needs to happen is you either need to say immediately, like I can't come, or we're gonna lose mid turret, because of course mid turret is more important than just killing Akali.
Yeah.
Or you need to say, we're gonna go kill Akali, and then we're gonna shove top turret, right? So you're gonna trade the kill and the top turret for mid turret. So that's like those are the two options you had, but not like going in between is incorrect.
Yeah. And I knew that's where I screwed up because that was a really like I think that's kind of what put us on tilt is I called that I was coming and then I just kind of never showed up.
Yeah.
And so it got Akali a kill and I didn't get to do anything.
Alright, so if you call you're coming.
Yeah. I gotta
just,
go.
Yeah, like you either have to go or like immediately, like as fast as you can say like I'm not coming, I have to hold mid. And I think not going for that play was also like fine because TF still has his ult.
Yeah.
So like he uses it. So he actually like he would have been there anyways. So one thing to note, like you don't make plays when there's globals. So like when TP's up, you try not to make plays. When TF ult's up, you try not to make plays. Alright. You should get the Rengar kill here.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did.
Just a small note. When guaranteed kills are like that, just don't ignite.
Okay. I also probably could have saved my ult.
Yeah, if you hit the first Q, but I think it's fine to use it after that.
Like I said, I think we did really well for like what we were up against, because you know we're all like silver, gold level, and they were all plat diamond, and I think we did really well. I think we were just like mechanically off this game. And see, we had a really late TP. I think we called for a TP, and then he teleported really late into a bad spot. And they pretty much, I think they did ace us.
Yeah.
And then got dragon, and this is kind of where the game just like snowballs.
Alright, so they have like a really strong gold lead here, and it's pretty hard to come back at this point. But for now I'm just looking at your play. Do you know he was there?
Oh no, I was watching bot and I didn't even notice he was there. He saw me through the ward, and so I watched bot right here, and he ulted.
Alright, so
was
here,
watching.
I'm not sure if you could have lived, probably not, but you definitely should have tried to ulti him. Yeah, so at this point the game's essentially over.
Yeah. It just.
That's actually a good play from you.
Which one?
You're about to like
Oh, yeah.
and get the double alt W. That was actually a good, really good initiation. Is your ulti up? You died there,
Yeah.
Caitlyn?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just didn't ult yourself.
Yeah. Or no, yeah, it was on
Yeah,
a
it was up.
Yeah. I was gonna say it had like just come off cooldown or something, and I thought it was on cooldown, and I didn't use it.
Okay. Can't get the thresh kill. I won't mention anything about the Emax on the Sandra. I think that's just player preference.
Yeah, I
they'll be-
like Emax a lot better against ranged champions simply because of the lower cooldown, and it lets me clear waves faster.
Yeah.
But I did go against his it just like on the matchup. Like when I go against like Zed or something, I always max W.
Yeah. Yeah, not much you guys can do to come back here. Alright, so we'll watch it again just from and see what your team does, right?
Okay.
I'm not gonna bother watching the last 4 minutes. They're just gonna squeeze
Yeah.
you guys out. So I'm gonna put it on directed camera. Alright. Generally speaking, at level 1, what you guys do here when you split, when to invade, is not really good. Because, like, I'm not sure, your Pantheon's like guarding top, but you guys plan on invading. It's very strange. Basically, you just wanna, if you plan on invading, you ball up as 5 and you rush for the invade as fast as possible, and you just brute force your way, and you grab a bunch of wards into the jungle, alright?
Okay.
Otherwise, you do the 5-point D. You all stand
Yeah.
at an entrance to your jungle and just put a ward at like 1 minute and then back off. Yeah. So basically,
we usually late invade, so we'll like sit in that bottom river bush until like 150, and then we'll go and try and get the jungler when he's at Gromp.
yeah.
He's got aggro on
What I
Gromp.
would do actually for that is I would do the regular invade first, like just rush S5, get the wards down, and then you can come back because you have vision. Right? So
Okay.
you can still do your late invade, but group up as 5 and get the vision in their jungle if you plan on doing that first.
Okay.
That's really weird. Killing just letting your Thresh and Nautilus show. Huh? Oh, that's why Pantheon lost top. He had to start W.
Why did he start W?
For the team fight, apparently. At level 1.
He wasn't there, was he? Oh, yes he was. Yes he was.
Yeah.
Yes he was.
So generally speaking, if someone does play Pantheon, because you might play Pantheon in the jungle,
Yeah.
in those level 1 fights, unless
Don't take
someone's
W.
like, yeah, just don't do it. You're better off just spamming Q for damage. Also, only take W if it's like a guaranteed kill, like 100%. Like not in a team fight scenario, like you're gonna get the pick. That's when you can grab W. But you need, it needs to be 100%. Like you need 100% so you can get the kill. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Okay, we'll just mosey through the laning phase.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure our bot lane did really well
Yeah, they
against
did.
what.
Well, they're behind, yes.
Well,
So even though they got the shove in.
our AD carry is really new, so
Yeah.
his CC, he just actually hit 30 at like
Yeah, I heard last
September.
time.
Yeah, September,
But
October.
yeah, his CSing is quite weak currently. Right, so
Yeah.
that was a really like not the strongest dragon play, but I'm gonna slow this team fight down. Alright, so you guys all collapse on the Thresh. And your Scion isn't here and he doesn't have Smite.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, the Scion should be calling like, "Hey, I don't have Smite. I don't have Smite," And what you guys need to do is you guys need to kill the. You guys need to like focus this Rengar that the group's in. Like you guys go for the Caitlyn, but the correct play is to kill the Rengar. Because when the Rengar is dead, then you guys can secure the dragon right afterwards.
Okay.
So like even if you were to lose this team fight like you do, if you get the Drake, then you know being down 1 kill or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys actually you lose out. I think you guys went even or something like that. Like you didn't like lose the team fight. Like you guys had to run away, but you didn't lose that many members.
We I think we almost got ace, didn't we? I think
Well,
we
you had
lost...
two. You had 2 guys up. You only lost 3.
Oh yeah. Did they lose 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they lost Twisted Fate, Thresh, and Rengar.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they also lost Caitlyn.
Oh, so it was 4 for 3, but they got Drake.
Yeah. See? Right. So I really like the vision. I noticed you guys definitely listened to me on that one.
Yep.
Actually, I was scrolling through your games earlier, and I noticed you guys have like 20 times more wards than everyone else.
Yep.
It's most likely you guys just aren't using the vision properly.
I think it might be like a efficient ward thing. We're placing a lot of wards, but not in the right places or something.
Yeah. We need to place them in such a manner where you end up protecting them.
Yeah.
But it's still real, like, this is way better than even some challenger teams in terms of warding. Just tell your AD carry for me that he doesn't need to swap to a red trinket, he should swap to a blue trinket on his, like, 3rd back or so.
Did he swap to a red?
I think in some of the games he was. But blue
Okay.
trinket is better for AD carries. And you want a blue trinket on the team regardless.
Yeah, so you don't have to face check.
Yeah, so you know, in those tense Baron situations. Alright. So you guys are doing okay. You're falling behind simply due to, well, the CS and bot lane essentially.
Yeah.
Just CSing in general, you guys are just behind in terms of mechanics. But overall, like if you look at your vision control, like this diamond team is getting shit on.
Yeah. And when we went over this like together, because we all sat down and watched it, and it was like, it just looked like it was all mechanical. Like we got out CS'd, like team fights, it just seemed like they were outplaying us, and it was just, I don't know. It just seems like you could tell that it was like a diamond versus silver.
Yeah.
Game.
No, you can. I mean, look at the CS difference between bot lane.
Yeah. I think our top lane right now is kind of struggling in terms of like his champ pool. Do you have anybody that you'd like suggest? If he likes like, he was talking about how he likes like the global presence of Pantheon. That's why he likes going top. And
I mean,
I got him to play like Gnar, but I know he doesn't have presence. But is there any?
there's no one like top laners have TP, so they have global presence.
Yeah. I don't know. I said maybe Rek'Sai just because of his tunnel.
Yeah, I mean Rek'Sai's a
Good.
decent top laner. Rek'Sai's just a better jungler.
Yeah.
I don't really know what he likes to play, but I mean Pantheon. Pantheon's a really good solo queue champion. He's just all 5s for
Yeah.
top lane.
Well, he plays all those solo queue champs. He plays like Akali, Yasuo, Pantheon. Like,
Yeah, those just don't work in ranked 5s. Like, I know like people, like even I will suggest like play what you're good at. You know, like make your own style.
yeah.
I'll rewind this. But those champions just flat out don't work right now. Like I'm all for, yeah, like I said, playing what you're best at. But Yasuo, Akali, Pantheon do not work in top lane in 5s. And there's no way to make it work. You're putting your teammates behind Fesvet. Right here, basically, like you mentioned, just late TP.
Yep. Our ward actually fell off because he tried to TP to follow, and our
Yeah.
ward fell off the second he tried to TP. So then he TP'd back farther to something, and
Yeah. So basically, you guys just got outplayed during that fight as well. I
Yep.
can't really like analyze much about it. Like you guys had the vision around it. Like it's not like you guys didn't see them. See here. But you guys still keep buying pinks and things like that. One thing I will note when you're behind, this game you're a little bit too far behind for this story. But grab your pinks, place them all in the same area, and then just sit your team inside them and wait for them to come and try and clear them and get your pick that way. Just like
Okay.
relay that.
So like in that bush behind red.
Yeah, so like you notice how you have like pinks like all up in your own jungle.
Yeah.
So this is really good. So let's say like you see them grouping because this isn't like it's not the team fight phase yet, right? Like it's still
Yeah.
technically laning. But let's say it was the team fight phase, like you guys would just kind of like sit in this brush, sit in that brush, sit in any one of the brushes that you have pinks in. Just sit there as a team and just wait for their support, their jungler, their mid laner to come and try and ward. And you constantly just try and sit in brushes and get picks. When you're you have a comp that you have.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, right there. That's where it was.
oh, what do you mean?
Oh no, that wasn't it. Never mind.
Right, okay, so this is like a mistake from your top laner and jungler. So they get the kill on a Kali, but you guys need objectives. So what should have happened is the Scion should have stayed, and you should have helped the Pantheon push out the lane, and they should have just taken top turret.
Okay.
Right, because there's no downside to it, because as you can see, there's two people bottom.
Yeah. We don't see Rengar yet,
Yeah,
though.
you guys don't see Rengar, but like you will see Rengar with the ward. But what this means is that there's no objective for them to take. Like Dragon's down, bot tier 2 turret's down. So when you guys commit the two people to top, they not only can't stop it, but let's say even if there was a bot lane turret, you guys would definitely want to trade when you're behind. This is one thing that I think that got brought by the by DZ. What should I call him? Can I call him Grant? Is he
Yeah.
good?
Yep, that's fine.
By Grant. I think one of the things I said in our last like team session was that you guys should trade objectives more, and what I mean by that is basically when you're behind you should be trading, but when you're ahead you should never trade. All right, that's the actual like
Yeah.
full version of that.
I think that was one of our problems. Is like we keep trading stuff even when we're ahead.
So I'll just like reiterate it. So when you're behind, you trade because you can't contest. When you're ahead, you actually want to force everything. And if there's like, let's say like their group bot or something like that, and they want to trade like a bot turret for like their top turret, you don't do it. You run bot and you go and kill them. You do not trade when you're ahead, right? There's no reason to let them do that.
Even if we can't get to it.
Yeah, get the turret and go and kill them. Like when they take the turret, you should ace them for that turret.
Okay.
Like within reason, right? Like let's say
Yeah.
no, I don't want you to like run from top lane all the way to bottom lane. But if there's like a choice between, unless you can win the base race or something like that, like, or you can like have someone TP back to stop them or something like that. Like I'm not gonna like make it like too literal, but you basically you shouldn't allow them to trade, and if they do attempt to trade, you should ace them for it because you're stronger than them, and you just cut them off.
One thing I made a note of to ask about is when do you buy a second Doran's? Or like when do you buy Doran's in general?
Doran's is mostly when you're going Morellonomicon, extra Doran's is fine, but it's mostly on back money. When you don't have enough money to buy something else, and you just need or when you need the power for the laning.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Because I think I backed on like that first death from Rengar.
Yeah, and you didn't have enough. Like buying an Amp Tome would have been like pretty bad. So you buy the Dorn's Ring and the Health Pot and the Ward instead.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to double check if there was like another a rule to buying Doran's rings.
Nah, it's basically just when you need instant power or when you don't have the the money to buy anything else, because the worst thing you can do is not buy or have a really shitty buy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's retards.
This is a really good play by Rengar because he saw me coming, and then I wasn't paying attention at all.
Alright, so you guys actually do end up taking the top turret. It's just kind of, you guys just kind of get picked off while doing it. So when calls like that are made, that like you have 2 players committing to top lane, everyone on the map, like besides those 2 guys, need to know like we can't fight. Like they're gonna try and force something, and that should be the call from your shot caller. Your shot caller should be like, they're gonna try and force things on us. Like play defensively, because you guys shouldn't have lost this turret. Like if you guys had just like stood under it, there's no way they end up diving. You know, like no one dives Lysandra. Like that just masses silly. But you notice because you guys died there, you guys lose bot turret, you lose all vision control in your jungle, you're gonna lose red, and because you lose vision control in your own jungle, you're gonna lose mid. You know, if they didn't get caught here by a really nice catch by you. Like let's say like you don't catch them there, you'll notice they'll just rotate to mid and they have all your jungle warded. So it's a pretty easy rotation for them. In that type of scenario, Pantheon had flash. What you want to do is like, you guys probably like backed off because you didn't think you could take the turret, right?
Yeah, you can kind of see where the strat calls were made. Like we all ran towards mid, and then I think we said like we're all low, so we all backed off.
So you all backed off. What the shot call should have been made is that the shot caller should have asked, "Does anyone have flash?" And then your Pantheon would have said yes. And you say, "We're taking mid turret, flash on TF," and so you flashed on the TF and kill him instantly and take the mid turret.
Okay.
Basically, when you win a big fight like that and you're behind, you need to try and take as much as possible, because you guys basically you win a team fight but don't get anything from it, and in fact you lose a top tier.
Yeah. I think that's our big problem is like we get the kills but we don't do anything with them. And I remember you saying like LCS games are like low kills simply because people know that.
Yeah, they know what they can get off of them.
Yeah.
Right, so basically that's what they did to you, right? They got like, you know, 3 kills, right? And then they turned it into a tier 2 turret, control over your jungle, and then it should have been a mid turn. So here you guys are just kind of getting picked off.
Yeah.
Couldn't really say about that. Here you guys just shouldn't do this turret.
Just let them have it?
Yeah, it's just theirs. Because there's 3 down and they're so far ahead. There's no way you defend. It's a tier 1 turret too. Like, who cares about a tier 1 turret? You just need to give it up.
I think we all have it hammered in our heads, like not to give free objectives, but I guess it's technically not free.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you guys like yeah, it's good to like not give stuff for free, but you also need to know like when to give up stuff.
Yeah.
When it's 3v5 versus a super fed, you know, Akali and Rengar who can dive you, then you leave that tier 1 turret. You know, it's different. It's different if you're defending like an inhibitor turret or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But if it's just a lowly tier 1, no one really cares about that. Alright, so that's a good play right there. That was a really weird positioning by the Caitlyn. Yeah, there's not much to like. There's not much to go over. Basically, what ended up happening is
we just got picked over and over and over.
Yeah, you guys got picked a bit. You guys got picked too much, and it was mostly due to them mechanically outplaying you guys. But yeah, just the big thing I want you to remember like from this game is that like when you're behind you trade, but when you're ahead you force. Like there's no opportunity, of course, for you this game to force, but that's just like the general principle. Right, so we'll go over the jungle stuff. Alright. So I will cancel this and we'll go over some jungle stuff, right?
Yep, that sounds good.
Alright, just let me redo my my client. The spectating is rather strange. Is this only an hour?
Um, yeah, hold on a second.
It's really up to you. I can quickly help you make the champion pool and everything in the time remaining.
Okay. Let's do that, and then if I hear back, we can keep going.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so as for jungle champions, I'll go over the ones that are really strong right now once I get back into my client. It stops hurting my ears. Alright, so the strongest junglers right now are, of course, J4 and Lee Sin for competitive play.
Okay.
Just J4 is probably the stronger of the two. Elise is also a good competitive jungler. Kha'Zix is okay. So is Pantheon. I'd put Pantheon and Kha'Zix on like the same tier. They're like, they're below. I would put J4 as the best one, and then Lee Sin, Elise, kind of like even. Pick one. Don't play both. But like they're both really like mechanically difficult, so just choose one. And then below that you have Kha'Zix and Pantheon. Again, I would choose one.
Okay.
And then Rek'Sai and Rengar are also really good, but I don't know. Rengar is just a champion that you gotta be a god with him to make him work.
What about like tank junglers? I know Diamond Prox played Sejuani in the jungle.
Yeah, Sejuani's okay.
IEM.
Yeah, I think Sejuani's okay. Not great, but if you're looking to, wombo combo, I'd say she's probably. If J4 is banned or not up, I'd pick Sejuani.
Okay. There was another one too. Oh, Vi.
She's just not like if you're looking because you're looking to play like fives and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't play Vi in fives.
No?
I think she's really good solo queue jungler. I think she has champions that only go in have problems in fives. Like she doesn't really offer the team anything but going in. So like J4 can he still has poke, his flag still gives vision. Cataclysm is like pretty beast. Lee Sin has huge utility. Pantheon again, like during skirmishes and pokes he's fine, but Vi really only
goes
really
in.
only ults. Like that's the problem with Xin Zhao. Like not like Xin Zhao's a fine champion, right? Like you can do well with him, but in competitive play, team fights are more organized. People will kite backwards, focus guys down, CC properly.
Is that why Fiddlesticks hasn't played in fives?
Yeah.
Just because he ults in.
Yeah, well, like he ults in, and then people will like spread out and walk away, and then they'll like reconverge on him, and then Fiddlesticks is like, oh.
What about like the big solo queue ones like a Mumu and Warwick and?
No, that can't be done in fives either.
No.
They just don't apply enough.
Same reason.
Yeah. Well, for a Mumu, it's more that like he's too alt reliant. Like the thing about you'll notice like J4, Lee Sin, Pantheon is they're still fine without their ultimates. Like they still do something, right?
Yeah.
But after a Mumu's done ulting, he just walks around and doesn't do anything. And that's why he's not paid.
It's just percentage damage.
Yeah, that's like mediocre. As for like Warwick, since the nerfs, he's not OP enough to counterbalance his ridiculously weak early laning phase. Like he makes all his lanes fall behind. Like in competitive play, if like you have Warwick and they have Lee Sin, Lee Sin's like running all over your jungle, warding it up, ganking people, and Warwick's just
Yeah.
clawing away at those wolves. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I
so
can see that.
it's just the early pressure applied. That's why you'll always see Lee Sin, you'll always see like Elise um, in the jungle, just because like also Sightstone junglers are still really good.
Well, I feel like that's how I'm going to play jungle. Like if I could find a Sightstone jungler that's really strong right now, I would
Yeah.
100% play them.
So the Sightstone junglers that are really strong are basically Lee Sin, Elise, and Nunu's okay. Like I think Nunu's still viable.
Okay. What about Sejuani with her health? Since her was it her
I
W
don't see any
skill up?
reason to pick her up over J4.
So, well, okay.
Like
Um,
her ultimate's good and all, but her early game's really bad. And so
do
when
you
you're
know if
picking Sejuani, like Diamond did, you need winning lanes.
okay.
So I'm not saying you can't pick her, but when you're picking her, you need to know like, hey, we can't have losing matchups.
Okay. So we have to know beforehand if
Or you can just pick strong
we're wanting
laners
to
in
pick
general.
Sedge.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is we have to know before we go into champ select that we want to try for Sejuani so that
Mhm.
we can pick strong leaners.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
that
it can
makes
be like
sense.
a more opportunistic thing. Like you can plan to like play Sejuani, that's fine. Or you can just say like, hey, we we have strong laners. Is Sejuani a good pick here? And then
Okay.
like
So
there is some planning to it, but
so Lee Sin's probably like the best Sightstone jungler right now.
yeah, him and Elise. Like I said, pick one of those.
Okay.
Like you don't have to be the Lee Sin god, as long as you can play Elise, and vice versa. You don't have to
Yeah.
know how to play Elise if you can play Lee Sin. And then if you're dandy, you play both. But
Yeah. That's dandy.
yeah, it's
Um,
dandy.
do you could you ever build Sightstone on like J4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said to Graham when I did the jungle thing with him, you only do it when there's someone else on the team that's gonna be doing. So don't never do it in solo queue. That's the one thing I'm gonna mention. Don't do it in
Okay.
solo queue. The only reason you would do it in solo queue is if you got that Smurf Challenger Vayne player who's 9-0 at the 5 minute mark.
Yeah.
Then you can do it. The reason for it is because the vision itself might not make you win in solo queue because people might not use the vision properly, and
Okay.
so what ends up happening is you do slightly less damage than you should, you're slightly less tanky than you should be, and you won't be able to make plays on your own. The Sightstone allows your team to make plays. If your team's not going to be able to make the plays, then you need to make them yourself. So in solo queue, if your team's not doing well, don't go Sightstone. In I would say it's generally the same in fives. Like if you notice your team comp's gonna lack a little bit of damage, you can delay the Sightstone. I say Sightstone is generally good on J4.
Okay.
It's still like something you can build, but how early you're building it is really dependent on how much damage your team has. So if
Okay.
you're gonna need damage to make ganks work, then
Don't build Sightstone.
don't build Sightstone. But there's other reasons not to build Sightstone. Like let's say they have a big like magic damage team, they got a lot of pokes, so they got like Corki, Syndra, stuff like that.
Okay.
Your team's gonna need to lock it, right? And so
Yeah.
what happens if you go Sightstone? It will delay your team's lock it too long, and you'll lose team fights.
Okay.
So I would, yeah, you just need to pay attention to things like that. So I say Sightstone is not core on him, but good. So I'd be building it every other game type thing, but not every game.
Okay. So it's very situational.
It's not very like it's like let's
Well,
say here.
I guess like you build it if you're ahead, or well, that would be the only time, right?
Yeah, you build it when you're ahead, or you build it like let's say
When your team doesn't need damage.
yeah, when your team doesn't need damage. Also, like if you're the only front line, and like again, like if you're the only front line, you might not be able to go it.
Okay. So you kind of need a bigger tank.
Like if you're, it's kind of weird. Like To me, it's either you commit to being the Sightstone J4 like as a playstyle that I'm thinking about it, or you don't. Because someone like Saint Vicious will always go. He'll actually always go Sightstone on J4, even in scenarios where it's like not the best.
Okay.
Um, and then other junglers like some Korean junglers like Swift and other things like that, and Shook. Um, they'll never go Sightstone on J4, and I think it's a playstyle thing. So you said you want to build Sightstone as a general thing, so I would
Yeah.
just always build it.
It just depends on when.
Yeah, so you're just delaying it instead, right? So you're always
Okay.
gonna get a Sightstone, but if you're ahead and your team is damaged, then finish your jungle item, get that brutalizer, and then get
Yeah.
the Sightstone for your team. But let's say like, oh man, like all my lanes are winning, I just need to control their jungler. Like even if you're fed, like you can like the early Sightstone and you just walking into their jungle. Because if you're ahead, right, you can just walk in their jungle, no
Yeah.
fear, and just warding up. Like that can be just as good at snowballing than building damage.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Hmm?
So you're saying like a Sightstone jungle is a play style.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say it's a play style. It's like the same for like Lisa and junglers, like and Elise junglers. Like some of them get it super early, some of them don't.
Okay.
So like it really depends on the game and the person's play style. Like, do they like controlling vision like a lot? Is that how they're gonna play? Because when you're a jungler who controls vision, you tend to counter gank more, and
Yeah.
instead of forcing plays. But when you're like the super mechanical jungler, you're gonna want to build a little bit extra damage and just buy greens instead. So like you're not like not building.
Yeah.
You're not ever not getting vision for your team, but you're not committing that much to vision.
Yeah. You're just not putting as many.
Hmm.
That makes sense. So who would you suggest then? I'm I'm probably more comfortable on Lee Sin
Hmm.
simply because I've played him before and I really like him.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go J4 Lee Sin for sure, since those are both viable. But all
The
the
one
other
thing
ones.
about Nunu, I'm gonna
Yeah.
mention, you're gonna need a good AD carry player to make Nunu work. So if
I
your
was gonna
AD
say
carry player is
I don't
new,
really care for Nunu. So
yeah, okay, so that's fine. Let's see here, other Sisun junglers. You don't really build it on Panther.
yeah, that I was kind of like looking through the champions that you mentioned, and I don't think any of them
Yeah.
would
So
ever.
you might not be able to like build sites in every game, but just remember to like buy a lot of greens when you play those champs.
Okay.
So I would choose either.
Is
I,
that worth it though? I mean, if you're gonna be buying that many greens, couldn't you just build a sightstone?
what Sightstone does is it makes you really weak at the moment because you only get the gold value. Um,
Okay.
like once you have placed a certain amount of wards. So what ends up happening is like let's say you get the Sightstone because you're gonna place a lot of wards, right? Um,
Yeah,
but that means you're like 3 longswords down or something like that compared to the other jungler who's just going full damage and then some
that makes
greens.
sense.
So like he's gonna end up paying more, but it's gonna be at a later time when he doesn't need the money as much because having that extra that extra 2 longswords essentially early on, and he's not really sacrificing vision control because he's still gonna have the greens.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
means
Now that you
he'll
say
beat
that.
you in the duel, and so he'll end up getting more money.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see here. Yeah, so I would
How
I
do you
would
feel
say
about Olaf in the
Olaf
jungle
is
right now?
actually I've been seeing some people testing him out, so I'm intrigued by Olaf. But I don't have a verdict on him yet. I know a lot of pro players are testing him though, so if you want to like fiddle around with him in solo queue, be my guest. But I'm not gonna put my like
Yeah.
stamp of approval on Olaf yet.
Okay. Because when I used to play top lane, I played Olaf a lot,
Mhm.
and I really like him
Yeah.
as a champion.
Yeah. So definitely. So what I'm gonna say is put Olaf on there. So you're gonna have J4, Lee Sin, Olaf, and then choose either Kha'Zix or Pantheon.
Okay.
Um, doesn't really matter which one. To each his own. And you'll be good for your champion pool. Junglers tend to only really stick with 4 champions at a time.
I would like Rek'Sai though. I really do like Rek'Sai.
Okay.
Um,
Actually, so yeah, okay. So have Rek'Sai there. Rek'Sai, Olaf, Lee Sin, J4, and just don't play either Ka or Panth.
okay. Because I don't really. I'd rather play Rek'Sai than Kai or Pand.
Yeah, okay, so just keep those 4. That's fine.
Okay.
So what'll normally happen is like, um, Rek'Sai will get banned, and then Lee Sin and J4 will be up. So you just like kind of pick one of them. And let's say
Yeah.
like J4 gets banned and they take Lee, then just kind of like go in with Olaf, right? So there'll never be a scenario where you won't have a jungler that you're comfortable with.
Okay. What about a AP jungler? Would that be
It's
an
just
issue?
Elise.
Should I have one?
It's just Elise.
Okay.
There's
Well, I
Kale
was gonna say
jungle still
Sejuani.
works. Yeah,
Since Sejuani is.
Sejuani still. She does so little damage though. Like
Yeah.
I don't really count her as AP just because her damage
Just
output's really low.
she also does percentage damage with her her only damage spell is percentage damage. So
Yeah, yeah, I've read it, but when you actually go into game with it, it's it's not putting out the numbers like it should.
okay. So those
Um,
4.
yeah, so those 4. Um, yeah, I would say you should be fine with those 4.
And just
Actually, no, yeah, put Sejuani because the thing about Olaf and Sejuani is they're going to be situational.
okay.
Because if they're taking like, let's say like the scenario is you always want to pick either Rek'Sai, J4, or me, right? This is what you want, right? Like this
Okay.
is those are your like holy trinity, and if for some reason you can't pick one of those, or you
Okay.
see the opportunity to go Olaf or Sejuani, you do, and
Okay.
then you don't want to get stuck with only being able to pick Olaf, right?
Yeah, because
And
that might not be
it might not
a,
be good. So keep Sejuani and Olaf as kind of like counter picks, I'm gonna call them, but your
okay.
core is gonna be Rek'Sai, J4, and Lee Sin.
Yeah,
And I put it in a tier.
like your luxury pick.
Yeah, they're your pretty much your luxury picks. Like, all right, like this is a good Olaf game, or this is a good
Yeah.
Sejuani game, or guess I have to play either Olaf or Sejuani. I would choose between J4 and Lee which one you're gonna be playing more,
Okay.
and just like every time he's up, just play him. 'Cause that's a luxury that junglers have that mid laners don't. Mid laners have to be careful of team comp, matchup, um, and things like that, and just generally having larger champion pools. But junglers they don't care about matchup. Lee Sin fix and J4 fit into every team comp. And so you can actually just repeatedly pick them, and so that means you can actually get a lot of practice down on one champion.
Okay.
And so choose one. Really whichever one you're more comfortable with. J4 is considered the stronger competitive pick. I'm just gonna put that out there, but you can pick either J4 or Lee, and just whenever they're up, pick them. I would pick Rek'Sai whenever Rek'Sai is left open, because Rek'Sai is banned a
Okay.
lot. And then yeah, so like let's say like Lee Sin's banned or taken, whatever. So then you just go down the list like, oh, J4. Oh man, Lee Sin or J4, I can't play them. All right,
Yeah.
time to play Sejuani. So just keep it tiered like that and follow it, even if it's like slightly boring, because you're gonna be new to the jungle,
Yeah.
so you don't like, even more so than in mid lane, you wanna get that comfort on a champion.
Okay. We can't go the extra hour, so we have plenty of time to go over runes and masteries and stuff.
All right, so
I just sent you the money.
we'll do that in 1 second, because I just have to go to the washroom, and I will be back.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll go over runes masteries real quick. Alright, so we'll go to my op.gg page. If not, I will send you links for the runes masteries. Alright, luckily the jungle actually pretty much most people use the same runes and masteries, so there's not a lot of variance in it.
Kind
In
of like
terms
mid
of
lane.
players and jungler. Yeah. Just even more so in the jungle. So basically what you're gonna be doing is if you go to my runes section, I think I should have a page here. Should be called my Shyvana page.
Okay.
This is just the general AD rune page that you're gonna be running for J4.
Okay. This is just for J4.
I'd say J4 and Rek'Sai would rerun this.
Okay.
So basically you're running attack speed for clear purposes, AD. Basically because the attack speed quints are really like efficient in terms of like the stats it gives compared to the other things.
Okay.
Compared to the AD quints, that's why you run them like that. As well as you run the AD marks, of course, pretty standard. And then you run some CDR just because you don't really need MR to clear the jungle. Might as
Okay.
well grab some extra CDR while you're at it. And then you run a mix of flat and scaling armor. You run the flat so you can get through the first clear. You run the scaling just to give yourself a little extra boost. Because they even
Okay.
out at level 5, just like the health scaling. As for masteries, if we go to the mastery section, I should have one called Lee. And you'll use this for J4, Lee Sin, Rek'Sai.
Okay.
Basically, what it does is it pretty much puts an all-in on your early game.
Okay. Looks pretty
And
standard.
yeah, there's nothing too special about it. There is some different things you can do.
I was gonna say, are there any like situational
Yeah, so you can
things?
run this as like a standard page. What you can also run if is you actually don't take exposed weakness, double-edged sword, or butcher, and you put them all into sorcery, the cooldown reduction. So if you're gonna be wanting extra CDR, you
Okay.
can just take out all those 1-point wonders, which is what a lot of people do. And then you take, yeah, and then you just put them into CDR instead.
Okay. So you keep spell weaving and blade
Yeah,
weaving?
you always keep spell weaving and blade weaving. It's
Okay.
really like a playstyle thing. If
Is
you're
that like
playing
a
on
gank assist thing?
the page that I'm running is more for dueling. So if you plan on dueling a lot, if you're not, if you're going to go for like you know, I'd say like a kind of a vision control mid game, like the CDR is probably more
Yeah.
worth it for you. So you just take out all
Okay.
those 1 points, put them into CDR. And then you can also take 1 point out of Devastating Strikes, the armor pen, just because like junglers aren't really known for their high damage. And you can put that last point into CDR too. So with your runes and masteries, you end up with 10%.
Yeah.
And then you end up with another like 10% from Bruta, 10% from the jungle item, 30% CDR. Pretty cool.
OP.
Yeah. As for Lee Sin, so that's it for Jarvan and Rek'Sai. They would both run that, and Lee Sin would run that mastery page as well. Lee Sin, the only difference with him is that he's running full AD, so he's just gonna run AD in the quints. Everything else is exactly like the
You don't
J4 page.
you don't need the attack speed?
No, not for Lee Sin clearing. Lee
I see.
Sin's clear is because of his passive. He gets like free attack speed.
Okay.
And he's more like you kind of weave abilities in between his autos, so the attack speed won't help us clear as much as just the raw AD would.
Okay. And then
Last champion was it Sejuani?
Olaf.
Olaf and
Olaf and
Sejuani.
Sejuani, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've played Olaf jungle.
He gets
But
the attack speed from his W and
yeah, I
lifesteal.
think you would still run the same mastery page. I would run the one that has CDR on it though, not the dueling one that I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be best. And then I would run full AD. on Olaf, just because again he gets the free
Same
attacks.
as Lee.
Yeah, same as Lee for runes with the with the CDR.
Okay.
As for what to kind of max on each champion, I'll go over Sejuani in a bit.
Okay.
On Olaf, you're gonna be maxing Q then E. On J4, it's Q then W. On Lee Sin, if you're snowballing, you go QE. If you're playing the more supportive Lee Sin style, you're going QW.
Okay.
Basically how I do that. As for item builds, junglers tend to mostly build the
What
same.
about Rek'Sai? Is that
Oh,
QE?
yeah, I would go QE on Rek'Sai.
Okay. Have you played him? Do you like him?
I've played him a little bit, not too much, because again, I'm a mid main, so I play
Yeah.
mostly mid.
Yeah.
But jungle's my secondary role, and I'm still pretty knowledgeable with it. But I would go QE for Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai is a really, really strong champion, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and as for Sejuani, I guess she's a tank jungler, so I would go 921. You would want to grab the CDR and then the AP in the 9. And
Okay.
then you do kind of the standard 21 defense. You grab everything but the stupid perseverance.
Would you take You don't need perseverance?
No, don't grab perseverance, don't grab second wind, but grab everything else except for swiftness and runic blessing. Don't
Would you
grab
would
enhanced
you
armor either.
change hardiness and resistance based on the game, or do you keep armor for the jungle?
I grab both.
Okay.
You grab both, and then you grab the reinforced armor and evasive,
Okay.
and then you put 2 points into the legendary guardian. It's like,
Okay.
and then yeah, rest of the page.
And then
builds
what do
itself.
you take for your ninth point in the offensive tree? Do you go double-edged sword or
Yeah,
butcher?
double-edged sword.
Okay.
As for Sejuani's rune page, you're gonna be running attack speed in your quints, and then you're actually gonna be running mixed pen on your reds. So otherwise you don't end up doing any damage.
Okay.
And since she's a tank jungler, you're gonna be running the CDR, like the 6 CDR glyphs. But then you're gonna be running the scaling MR instead. For the
Okay.
just 3.
So the same armor things? You do half and
No,
half?
you do full on her. Full scaling armor.
Okay.
And then you're gonna be maxing W and then E.
W and then E, not your dash?
Yeah, not the dash.
Okay.
The dash's cooldown only gets reduced by like 1 second per rank. Not a big deal.
Okay.
As for which jungle items to get, basically on Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, and J4, you're always gonna be getting the damage one. That's just how it's gonna work.
What about Devour?
No.
I've seen Devour on Rek'Sai quite a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Devour is not like
No?
a competitive one anymore. Just the nerf is too much.
Okay.
I would go chilling. The chilling.
Stalker's Blade?
Yeah, the stalkers. I go stalkers on Rek'Sai. I
Okay.
go stalkers on Lee Sin. I go stalkers on J4.
I was gonna say, you go Stalkers on pretty much everybody that's slow is incredible.
Yeah, except you don't do it on the Sejuani and Olaf.
Yeah.
Just because.
Don't you not do it on tank junglers? Or
Yeah, you
like
just
people
don't do
with
it on
like
tank.
long range slows?
You just don't do it on tank junglers. Because tank junglers can't clear. So they need the extra clear from Trailblazer.
Okay.
Um,
So Stalker's Warrior and then probably what? Brutalizer?
yeah, then you go Brutalizer. And then my rule is for your offensive items, you choose 2 out of the 3 maximum that I'm going to mention. So you have Hex
Okay.
Drinker, Brutalizer, and Tiamat. Choose 2 if you're snowballing.
So this is
1 is fine.
You get your Stalkers, your Warriors, your like at least brown boots, and then
and then you grab
either Hex, Brutalizer, or Tiamat.
Yeah, never all 3, always 1.
Okay.
2 if snowballing.
Okay. And
of course,
what
that's
about
it.
boots?
Boots, you're gonna be going Mobies when you're trying to snowball the game, where you're the main initiator,
Okay.
Otherwise, tab eyes or
Yeah.
mercs.
Merker, Tabi.
Yeah, pretty standard. Jungle like is not really hard to build.
No.
After that, of course, you're just going tank. So if your team needs to lock it, you're building lock it. If you need to be tanky, you're gonna build that Randuin's. You need some more armor. Thornmail's the best option. Like, don't build Sunfire Cape. Awful
Okay.
item for the jungler. So you can go, like I said, you're
Do you
going
ever go
random.
full damage? I know you said
Only
never build
stop at
3.
2. Always stop at 2.
Okay.
Because technically your jungle item is an offensive item, so if you're going 4 damage items as a jungler, when the jungler is essentially the initiation rule, you're gonna throw the game. Because
Okay.
even when like let's say like someone like LeBlanc or Ari is ahead, like they still need to get Azani's hourglass, like
Yeah.
they still need to go defensive. So it would be the same.
Okay. And then I'm assuming you upgrade them last. Like you just get the base, the Hex Drinker, Brutalizer,
Mhm.
Tie Mat, and then build tank, and then
Yeah,
upgrade them last.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
And when would you build each one?
Like if they have like a Syndromid or something, you're going
Yeah.
Hexbreaker. I'd say Brutalizer is the most standard one you'll be building for damage,
Okay.
but Tiamat is for that big hard carry.
Okay. So
Like
Teammate's better than Brutalizer in
if you're
terms of like damage output and trying to
what it
carry.
also lets you do is it lets you farm waves faster, like actual like your laner's waves faster, and it
Okay.
also lets you farm your jungle faster.
Okay.
So it is like the snowball item, but it's expensive.
Is it risky?
It's like I said, it's expensive,
Okay.
and the what it ends up doing is it doesn't have the value that Brutalizer does. Like Brutalizer has value on it because it also gives you CDR. So it
Yeah.
gives you CDR, it gives you armor pen, and then it can be upgraded into something that's useful for your team, like a Black Cleaver.
Okay.
Um, while Tiamat's just it's like pure damage, which isn't something that that normally a jungler should be doing. It's only there for like I said, like when you're trying to really hard carry. Like you're the one on your team that's snowballed, so you're the one that has to carry. So
Okay.
Tiamat's better. But if you're just but Brutalizer is still always like a good option.
Okay. And so you said not to build it in solo queue, but what about when do I build Sightstone in 5s?
That's like
Bef-
it's a money thing. Like if
okay.
if you're like backing on 800 gold, like, and you think that like the vision's gonna like really help, then like you get Sightstone.
Okay.
Like it's more so like you kind
So
of
it's very
just
situational when you
it's
build it. It's
yeah
just
I can't it's like telling you like when to upgrade your boots when you're a mid laner. Like you kind of upgrade sword boots when you feel like it, like
yeah.
so you grab the Sightstone when you think you're gonna need it.
Okay.
Unfortunately I can't explain it better than
Yeah.
that.
No, I understand.
Because sometimes when you're ahead, you want to snowball the game with vision, but sometimes you want to snowball it with damage. So it's a game-to-game thing.
So if like your team's ahead,
If your
you're
whole
doing
team's
well,
ahead,
you're backing at 800 gold.
yeah, I'd get it.
Sightstone.
Yeah,
Just not in solo queue, right? You
yeah,
said
just don't do that in solo queue unless for some odd reason. Like unless you trust your teammates, like they've shown
Okay.
competency
Yeah.
and you trust them, then you
Yeah.
can build the Sightstone and build the and get wards for them. But other than
Do you
that, like
do you ever
rest
do that in Challenger? Are
yeah.
the people still not competent? And
Well, I know who's competent or not, right? Because I play with the same people every game.
yeah,
It's like
I guess
I
that's
know
true.
who I can give blue buff to even when they're behind. Like I know who I'm gonna gank for because I know they're gonna do well. Like if I have like Sneaky in bot lane, like I'm a camp for Sneaky because Sneaky's gonna carry my game no matter how badly my top laner's gonna do, right?
Yeah,
Like so I have that luxury. So
that's true.
the other thing
I was
about
just
it,
curious if there's like people that still in Challenger just aren't
oh, of
confident
course.
enough.
Well, there's the one thing like there are some one-trick ponies. Mostly what happens is everyone in Challenger got there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But some people troll a lot, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna camp for someone who
Yeah.
trolls. Also the biggest problem is a lot of people end up having to off roll, and so it's not that they're bad players, but if an AD carry main's got to play mid, he's gonna get crushed by a challenger mid lane main,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm not gonna give him blue and I'm not really going to gank for him because even if he gets ahead, he's not going to be able to carry the game because he's off rolling.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I mean, if I see someone on the other team who's obviously like a one-trick pony jungle main who had to play AD carry or had to play top lane, I'm going to camp the shit out of him because he's not going to know what to do.
That makes sense.
So in that sense, like, yeah, like because people have to off roll and not everyone can play more than one role in Challenger because there are a lot of one-trick ponies, even like just one champion players. So yeah, there are some people that I'm not going to give blue buff to, or no matter what they're doing.
What's the strangest one-trick pony you've seen?
The strangest.
I mean, like strangest champion main. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one sec. I'm like scrolling through them. I know there's a brand main. I mean, King Cobra's a Cassiopeia main. Oh, there was a GP support main. There was a GP support main, and he actually did work.
Huh.
Yeah.
Do you know his name?
I
Just out of
forget.
curiosity.
Nah, it was he was like a troll, and he was doing it for like a month straight while GP was OP for a bit. I know there's a duo queue. They duo Malzahar mid lane, and then he plays Veigar support, and he just runs to mid, and you get Veigar stunned into Malzahar ulti, and it's so stupid.
Damn.
So there's that. Simon Hawk is a top lane Nunu main.
Huh.
There used to be this guy called like Warmonger XXX who was a Nautilus support main.
That's our support.
Yeah.
He plays Nautilus like every single game.
There's a Poppy support main in challenging. There's a Skarner top main too.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think those are the more unconventional ones.
What was the Nautilus main's name?
I forget. It's like Warmonger XXX. Completely forget.
Okay. I'll see if I can find it.
He was a pretty big troll. He was good though. Like he did work on that champion.
All right. Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah. So I actually forget what were we talking about?
Builds.
Builds.
We went to build Sightstone.
Right. So basically, yeah. So whenever you trust your teammates to win for you, you build Sightstone and solo queue.
Okay.
As for, I'm just gonna, since you're going to jungle, I'm gonna mention, just like I mentioned to Graham, don't gank losing lanes ever.
Okay.
That's just like, unless it's a 100% chance. Like let's say your bot lane's losing, but the other team has like Jinx Sona, and then like the Sona has no flash and you're J4, right? And you have your ulti up, so like that's a guaranteed kill. That's fine to gank. So the way I like reiterate that statement is like, don't force things in losing lanes. Like don't ever go to a losing lane and be like, I'm gonna come gank and I'm gonna get you back into the game, because that's never gonna work. What's most likely gonna happen is, because they're ahead, they're gonna have a bunch of wards, they're gonna see you coming, and they might even 2v3 you guys. And if they don't 2v3 you guys, their jungler is gonna be there and counter gank you, and then there's no way you guys win 3v3. So
yeah,
always camp for the guy who's doing the best on your team, and that's how you win.
Okay.
So like, even if you're like, let's say your top laner is like 3-0 and he's like, don't worry about my lane, man, just go to the other lanes. Don't do that. Just keep killing top lane over and over again. Make that guy go 8-0, make him get, because what's going to happen, the way you bring your team back into the game is you keep camping for that guy, and then you take the top lane turret, right? And since the top lane turret is down, then that 5-0 Aurelia that you just camped for is able to go bot with you. And now, when there's a 4v4, let's say their top laner TP's in, you guys have a 5-0 Aurelia, and let's say they have like a 2-0 Jinx. Yeah. You guys will win that 4v4, right? So basically, that's how you help your top lane. It's kind of weird, like your bottom lane. You help your bottom lane that's losing by making top lane win so hard that it starts to spill over to the rest of the map. Because you can't bring it back on your own.
Yeah. No, I don't know how many times, like, I feel like it's the opposite. Like, people always think that you want to gank for the losing lanes since the winning lanes are winning.
Yeah, no, that's That's like this like weird reverse logic that happens that really people don't understand until like master tier, where you really do only make plays in the lanes that are winning. Like let's say people want to prioritize bot lane a lot, right? Because that's where dragon is.
Yeah.
But I'll give you the example again. You're scared that you can't take dragon because your bot lane's losing, so you make your top lane win so hard that their top laner has to use TP to get back to lane, and so then you use your super fed top laner to TP to bot, kill their bot lane, and then you guys got dragon. But you guys got dragon without your bot lane actually being stronger than theirs.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's like that's kind of the concept you want. It's gonna be really weird because even when I jungle on Smurfs or with the GF or something like that, people will be like raging at me. Oh man, I'm getting ganked. I can't I can't do anything. Where's my jungler? You just have to ignore it. And even if the guy tells you like stop camping my lane, you just gotta actually keep camping his lane. It's
Okay.
gonna be a little bit hard because the players won't really understand the concept, but it's like just know it's the correct play.
Okay.
Like I said,
So
you don't want to completely abandon bot. Like I said, if you see that Sona without the flash, go for it.
yeah.
But
Okay.
the plays you want to like, there's like two different types of ganking. There's the opportunistic type where you know they don't have flash so you can get it off, and then there's the forcing type where you see that crazy Lee Sin player come in for the kick flash warthog
Yeah.
whatever. So that's a forcing gank. So you want to force ganks on winning lanes and only do opportunistic ganks on losing lanes. You never force a gank on a losing lane.
Okay.
That's how you throw an entire game. Alright, so we'll continue item builds after that small tangent. So basically, if your team needs a locket, ask your support player if he's building it. Like coordinate with your support player who's going to be building the locket.
Okay.
And then your standard MR item after that's going to be Banshee's Veil, if you need MR.
Okay.
Banshee's Veil
No
plus...
spirit visage?
No, just not. No Spirit Visage on junglers, not worth.
Okay.
And then your armor items are going to be Randuin's Thornmail. None of the champions that you have should be going Frozen Heart, except for
Okay.
maybe Olaf and Sejuani. I would go Frozen Heart and yeah, I'll stick with the three offensive ones and then I'll go for the defensive ones. So for
Okay.
Lee Sin, J4, and Rek'Sai, I would stay away from going Frozen Heart and Sunfire Cape. Like, don't build those items on them. Instead, go Randuin's, and if you need more armor, Thornmail.
Okay.
And then for your MR items, if you have to build the locket, build the locket. If not, and you need an MR item, grab your Banshee's Veil.
When do
Those
you
are
build locket? Like,
if they have poke magic damage, that's generally how
okay.
it's done. Or if they're double AP, either one. So if they have like a Xerath Corki comp, like you're building locket. If they have Syndra Lysandra, you're building locket.
Okay.
But if they just have Lysandra or they just have Syndra, you're not
Don't.
building locket.
Banshees.
Yeah, Banshees.
Okay.
I generally wouldn't go GA too often unless there's like a specific reason why you have to dive in and die. GA is like super situational. Warmogs is again okay. If you know they don't have percent health, Warmogs is like kind of that thing where, like, let's say you see that they have like they're mostly AP combo. Like say they have that comp that I just mentioned. They have a Xerath, they have a Corki, and then they have like another like AP top laner, like a Rumble or something like that. And so you build
Okay.
your Locket, right? And then you have your Hex Drinker, and then you have a Banshee's Veil, and then you're like, well, I don't really need like Randuin's, right? Because
Yeah.
Corki doesn't
They
do
don't
that
have
much.
much armor.
You build Warmogs, because Warmogs is actually really good against Poke now, because it gives more health regen when you're out of combat. It gives a lot of health regen when you're out of combat.
Okay.
So Warmogs is now kind of like an anti-poke item. It's not really like a brawling item. So just note that it's a situational pickup against poke comps. Where you're
Okay.
gonna have to be sustaining against them. I'll mention briefly which offensive items are best on each champion. So Hexdrinker is good on all three of those champions.
Okay.
I would say, hmm, actually, yeah, I think the rule is still the same for those three. If you're looking to hard carry, then go Tiamat. If you're looking to just like you're doing well and you don't have to hard carry, then just keep your Brutalizer.
Okay.
Because the Tiamat is basically going to increase your farming output and as well do a lot of damage, but it's not as efficient as just the Brutalizer. Because the Tiamat's like pretty expensive, and the Brutalizer is going to give you that CDR, which is really nice and has good utility. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Um,
And is there any specific order that you build? You said
mm,
always build one, sometimes build two. Does it
yeah,
matter
there's no
what?
order.
Okay.
I would say
Like try and get brutalizer before Tiamat or like
no, there's
anything like
no.
that.
I mean, if you go Tiamat and you're looking for extra damage, then
Okay.
pick up the Bruta. Or I mean, if you're getting the Bruta and then you're noticing like, oh shit, I'm snowballing more, then grab the Tiamat.
Okay.
Either way works. There's no like specific order really.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah. As for Sejuani and Olaf, I think Sunfire Cape is fine on both those champions. I would grab the.
I
I'd
thought you
still
said
grab
Sunfire
Warrior.
was an awful item.
Yeah, but it's okay on Sejuani. I think it's okay. Grab it on Sejuani, not Olaf. Yeah,
Okay.
just Sejuani. Olaf you should be getting Warriors still. And then go Bruta. Um, he can't go. I wouldn't go Tiamat on him. I would stick with Bruta and Hex Drinker, and I would pick. You can go both if you want, but if you're looking for just one offensive item, I'd pick Bruta over Hex Drinker. He's really good with Brutalizer, and then you're
Yeah.
just going tank after that. Um, just the same tank items as before,
Okay.
except you can add in a Frozen Heart on him. It's quite good. Um, yeah, and Warmogs is slightly better on Olaf than the other champions because he gets scaling off of HP.
Do you build stalkers still, or do you?
No, you're
Ah,
going.
Trailblazer.
Yeah, you're going Trailblazer. Oh, and you said you're having trouble remembering to get Red Trinket. Well, it's even more important on jungle. Always. There's no scenario where you do not get Sweeping Lens
On
on
your
your first
first
back.
back.
Yeah, no scenario.
Okay, so you buy like your
Except for on
first
Lee
jungle
Sin.
item and
Yeah,
then red trinket
Red
always.
Trinket. Yep. There's only one with Lee Sin. Lee Sin, you keep your yellow trinket for like 2 backs.
Okay,
The reason for that is you can use it to ward hop. 2 to 3
got it.
backs, I would say is average.
So, Lee Sin specifically, do you build Sightstone more
Yeah.
because
Well,
of the
you
word
you build
jumping?
Sightstone every game only. Like
Okay. When would that fall in with the like the Hex Drinker Brutalizer Tiamat thing? Like you
um,
pick two or
not really. Realistically, you can just get it whenever.
okay.
Um, yeah. It's really like you can complete your first jungle item and then go boots Sightstone. Like that's not even bad.
Okay. So
It's
always
the
build
same on
Sightstone on me,
J4.
even
Yeah,
in solo queue.
yeah, even in solo queue. In solo queue, you're always building it. I would
Okay.
say, yeah, on J4 in competitive, you're always going to be building Sightstone, and it's the same theory. You're basically just building it whenever you feel like it. But
Okay.
I would say I wouldn't, I would never get your second offensive item before Sightstone. So like, let's say on Lee Sin, you complete, like you actually get the warrior.
Okay.
Um, that's the latest. Like after the warrior, you go straight Sightstone. That would be the latest I would put it.
Okay.
Right? So I'm not saying like you have to rush it. I would say I would just never build an item in like I would never go warrior brutalizer then sightstone. I'd always
Okay.
go warrior sightstone into brutalizer.
Okay. And do you always get brown boots
Yeah, I
when
would,
you're trying to get your brown boots like before you complete your enchant?
no, that's there's no real there's no real timing on it. You want to pick up the round boots, but you're not.
It's not super important.
It's not that important, but it's important. It's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
like
It's one of those situational things.
yeah you pick them up, but because you don't want to delay them too long, right? Because boots are important
Yeah.
on junglers. But if you're able to like grab a bunch of long swords or something like that, it's fine.
Okay, so for Olaf, you said Trailblazer into Warrior, and
Hmm.
then
And then
Brutalizer, right?
Brutalizer or Hex Drinker and or both.
Never time it.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
And then you're going the Randuin's, Banshees, Locket. Warmogs is particularly good on him.
And you said Frozen Heart.
Yeah, Frozen Heart too.
When would you build Frozen Heart over, say Randuin's or Thornmail?
When you notice that the other team's more attack speed based, so they have like I don't know, like Aurelia Vayne.
Yeah. Okay.
Frozen Heart's good there. Plus, it's got nice CDR on it.
Okay.
As for Sejuani, you're going the Trailblazers into the Juggernaut,
Yeah. The
and
tank.
and then you're grabbing Sunfire.
Sunfire first.
Yeah, Sunfire or Haunting guys, I would say. Are your offensive choices for Sejuani.
Okay. And
Um,
which
mhm.
when do I pick which one?
if you're looking to kind of impact the early game a little bit more, you're going Haunting guys. And in that particular case, you can actually go Sword Boots. That's actually that's a thing.
Okay.
So that's like only go Sword Boots when you have Haunting guys. If not, if you're looking and they have like, let's say like they have a decent amount of armor and you're just looking to kind of like scale up, do decent. You're not trying to snowball or anything like that. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with going Sunfire. I will mention Abyssal is also an option on her if you notice your team has a lot of magic damage and you're gonna be wanting
Okay.
to do that. Abyssal is a fine item. But
So
yeah,
Sunfire's kind of the default. Like,
yeah, Sunfire is kind of your default, and then I would say like Haunting guys is your snowball item.
okay. Um, do you ever build Sork boots without haunting
No,
guys?
never,
Okay.
don't do that.
Okay. So
Um,
haunting guys,
yeah,
Sunfire, and Abyssal.
yeah, and Abyssal. Those are kind of like your options for offensive items.
Okay.
Abyssal is the kind of the Hex Drinker replacement,
Okay.
because it's good against MR, but you still get damage out. Other than that, you're probably getting the Sunfire, and then you're building Locket. Sejuani can build a lot of different offensive items, or not offensive,
Defensive.
defensive. Yeah, so she can get Frozen Heart. It's good on her. Warmog's good on her. Randuin's good. Thornmail, of course, good. Banshee's good. She does have one option that the other junglers do not. Righteous Glory is actually quite good on her.
Okay.
It'll let you initiate better, and that's what she's for.
So you would build that when you're lacking initiation?
Yeah, because it gives you a fair bit of tankiness too.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are, I would say, the general build path for Sejuani is going to be like something like, you're going to get your jungle item, then you're going to grab Sunfire, you're going to grab Locket, and then you're just going to kind of branch off to your defensive item. So they're attack speed based, I'm grabbing Frozen Heart. Oh, they're not? Grabbing Randuin's.
Got it. Yeah, tanks are pretty easy to build.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
just, what's going to make me not take damage?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Um,
Sejuani.
is Spirit Visage still not viable on
Nah,
just
wouldn't.
Banshees?
Yeah, just Banshees is better. The thing about Banshees versus Spirit Message gives you less HP, it gives you CDR. But the thing about it is that um if you're grabbing the jungle item plus like Frozen Heart or something like that, then that's already 40%. Or if you're grabbing the jungle item plus Locket, that's 20%. So it's just like even on like, let's say like J4 and stuff like that, like you're grabbing your jungle item and then Brutalizer, and then let's say you grab Locket, well you're already at like
30%.
30%, and then when you add in your masteries, well that's actually 40%.
So, what if you build Banshees and they're not poke? What would you build then?
Oh,
So like Locket wouldn't be that strong, and you already have Banshees.
oh, you need more MR.
Yeah.
I would, if you need more MR, like what champion are you?
Say one of my three.
All right, so you're Rek'Sai, J4, or
Lee Sin.
Lee Sin. So I would go. I'd have the Hex Drinker plus the Banshees.
Okay.
And that should be pretty much the max MR you would need. Because there's no way one person's going to be able to burst you down through Hexdrink or Banshee's Veil.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so
they
that kind of makes sense because Sejuani's got Abyssal.
Yeah.
So I'd have Abyssal and Banshees. Okay.
Mhm.
That answers the question.
Yep. As let's see here. So I think that's it for the Rings of Masteries for jungle. We got 20 minutes left here. If you have another replay, I can quickly go over it. If not,
I don't. All my replays are on LoL replay. I just
Mm.
kind of keep it going while I'm playing, so I have all of my games on there.
okay.
But I don't know if it's working or not. Like I don't know if I can get them to you.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's pretty glitchy.
I was gonna say at least not in the time that we have.
Yeah.
It might take a while.
Let's see here.
We can just maybe I'll have more to do next time and we can just overlap and just
Yeah,
add 20
I've
minutes or
done that
something.
before. I'll just make a note. I'll make because in the impromptu extra hour because it's weird on jungle because normally I fill the blank space for mid lane with just 1v1s for
Yeah.
laning mechanics, but for jungle I can't really do
Oh,
that.
we could go over paths. Are there any like jungle paths?
I'll teach you some things about jungle real quick. So I'll just stream me doing it, so that'll be easier.
Okay. That
I'll
works.
make it custom.
Are there any like situational paths?
Yeah, I'll go over that real quick. So I'm just gonna pick Lee.
Okay.
So I'll teach you some small things. One specifically about warding, and then I'll go over some other things you can do for ganks. And I'll teach you like the OP challenger pink ward placement.
Okay.
This one will like literally no one ever finds. Like you've probably seen it before, but you just don't incorporate it into your games, and it's pretty OP. It gives a lot of vision, and it'll probably last like 20 minutes. So
Is that the one and that like by the enemy red?
behind it?
Yeah. Or not like in front of the. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right here, right ping. You just ping here. If you have control over the game, like let's say you're doing it really well, you just like ping right where I'm pinging, and it's pretty broken. All right, so basically,
I did actually know about that, but
yeah,
I
you just don't
think I've done-
incorporate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think. Why does it give so much vision? I mean, I understand why it gives so much vision, but like I don't feel like people go through there enough for it to be a good pink.
What it does, more and what you might be overlooking is it lets you know whether jungler went to golems or not.
Okay.
And that's really important because if you know he's not at golems, then you know he's at the bot side of the map. It also lets you know where they're doing red, and it also lets you know if he's gonna go for a lane gank top.
So, I know if you put that ward right, you can see red buff, right?
Yeah.
Do you
can see
wanna
him
put it
walk
there?
into red. No, you just want to put it here, like where I'm standing. And so what it does, it lets you lets you like see him walking into red. Like it lets you like see the red being done.
Okay.
But you don't need to see the full red. So what it does is basically,
Tells you he's there.
yeah, it tells you that he's at the red, but it'll tell you if he's gone to golems. And you know if he hasn't gone to golems, and let's say you have like your mid laner warded the race, and the racer's still up, then you know he's automatically at the bot side of the map, and that's really, really useful as a jungler. That means, oh man, he's bot side of the map, I can either go counter gank it or I can make a play top. So that little bit of extra information, just knowing if he's gone to the golems or not, is you can use it quite effectively. So one thing I'm gonna mention as a jungler is the scuttle crab is OP.
Okay.
Basically, every single time you can during the mid game, you want to be grabbing the scuttle crab, and more importantly, right before a dragon spawns, maybe like 30 seconds to 40 seconds, because you know you guys are gonna be prepping for it. You want to take the scuttle. The scuttle is like a real objective that like people, when I scrim, people will start fights over trying to get the scuttle because it's that important to winning a dragon fight. The extra vision that you don't need wards for, that it provides, is really, really crucial to fighting in that area, because people can't like sit in the pit and then you know get picks on you for free. but also the movement speed will allow you to either disengage or engage really, really effectively compared to the other composition.
Okay.
So make sure you put a lot of emphasis on the scuttle right before dragon spawns.
I was gonna say I do before the dragon, like if I know there's an objective coming, but I don't normally like go out of my way to go get it.
Yeah, you should go out of your way to go get it.
Okay.
Basically, the start you want to do on Lee Sin, you're just gonna start Krugs.
Okay.
You're gonna start these guys, and you're gonna do red, and you're just gonna walk over blue and do it. And,
Oh, like both sides of the map?
yeah. That's like the general one. What you want to tend to do is this is more for a rank 5 thing, but you can start doing it in solo queue too. Don't start on whatever side bot lane's at. Because what happens is then their bot lane might do the buff, and then if your bot lane doesn't get it, then they automatically lose.
We do what we must.
Wait, say that again?
Like, if their bot lane does this camp,
oh, I see. Okay.
Your bot lane loses. Also, if your bot lane has to leash and their bot lane doesn't, your bot lane loses.
Yeah.
So basically, what you can do is if you actually want to start at the bot side of the map, you can just start red. You can start red, and then you can just go off and do race right afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you do, don't force your bot lane to leash for you.
Okay.
It'll put you a little bit behind because in solo queue, the other jungler's gonna ask for it, but it is really important because it makes it so that if you don't do it, you get to win bot lane for your bot lane just by putting yourself slightly behind. As for warding, I want to show you one ward, which you've probably done, and I may have told you not to do, but this ward right here with a trinket ward is pretty bad. You shouldn't ward here.
Where?
Right where I'm standing.
Okay.
If you see a mid laner ward this, I'll show you. The vision doesn't reach here, and you can actually walk by. And then the ward won't see you. And so if you ever see a mid laner ward that brush with a trinket ward, pre-level 9, because that's when it has reduced vision, you can actually just sneak through like I did, and just
I actually didn't know it had reduced vision.
Yeah, pre-level 9.
Where am I needed?
Wow. I feel stupid now. I did not know that.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's not that big a deal. But this is one thing you can take advantage of as a jungler. The other thing that I want to note as a jungler is I've mentioned that mid lane and jungle is a duo, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of vision control, the jungler and the mid laner need to work together to keep control around mid lane. So you want to be placing pinks around mid for your mid laner.
Okay.
And then when you have an advantage, you want to run into the jungle. On whichever side you're strongest, like let's say your bot lane's winning, then you go on the bot side. If your top lane's winning, you go on the top side. And you kind of ward up where I'm standing there, you ward the camp, you ward here, and you just kind of ward up deep into their jungle so you can make plays more effectively.
That was my next question, was where are like the effective places to ward? Like especially around mid, because I generally usually ward Death Bush, the either Dragon side or Baron side, whichever one they don't have warded. Yeah.
Right, so generally speaking, here's how I do wards. So pinks, I place them more defensively. So if you have no control over mid, you place it here. If you're kind of okay, like everything's even, you place it in the Death Brush that you mentioned.
Okay.
And if you're super ahead, you pink this. Alright, the reason you pink this is because this is like a taunting ward. Not only does it let you gank, but it'll cause fights. Because their mid laner's like, oh, it's so close, I can clear it, right? And so it'll cause either their mid laner or their jungler to come and clear it, and so then you can brawl them for it.
So you generally want to ward behind your red, right? Or
it's really whatever side will need the vision. Like whatever side is strongest, you want to help them with vision. So let's say, actually no. Generally speaking, just put the vision bot side.
Okay.
So like if you have a pink, like your mid laner will pink top side, and then you will pink bot side.
Okay.
Right.
And only pink the I don't know which one I call it. I call it the Death Bush, but you only
call
pick
it the island.
The what? Oh, the island. Okay. You only pink the island when you're ahead, right?
No, even.
Even or ahead?
Yeah, even or ahead,
We must.
Okay.
not one behind.
And so when you're on red side, where do you pink when you're behind?
Here.
Where?
This brush.
Quiet.
What brush I'm
Oh,
standing?
okay.
You pink this one when you're behind?
There's a delay on your stream, so
Yeah,
it's
it's like 15 seconds, but
yeah.
yeah, it'll be the
Okay. Okay.
one that I'm
And
picking.
is there any specific place in that bush that you want, like farther back, so they can't get to it, or
No, just
somewhere?
yeah, like not right on the edge, but
Find your center.
kind of maybe like 40%.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Gotcha.
Right, I'll teach you some places that you can stand for gank. So let's say like your mid laner's like pushed up, and you want to go for like a dive or something like that, or maybe you like snuck around because of the ward thing I mentioned, and you're level 6. So basically, when you play Lee Sin, you're gonna just stand in the Wraith camp, and then you're gonna ward jump over the wall here and just kick him out. Same thing can be done with J4. You can just sit in the Wraith camp, and then EQ through the pit, and this will like guarantee a flank on the mid laner.
Master
Yeah.
yourself, master the enemy.
And when you get a chance to invade, like I'm doing, like I'd say I'm the red side jungler and I'm invading,
Okay.
you're gonna just, and you have wards, you're gonna ward this brush. This is important.
Where am I needed?
The brush I'm gonna stand in, I'm gonna ping it too.
Okay.
Then you're gonna ward this brush as you run by. These two brushes are the most important if you're invading to have control over. And this brush too, if you're not like as confident, is fine.
Master yourself, master
Um,
the enemy.
I'll mention when you're doing early invades, like at level 1 with your team, these are the exact same spots you'll be warning, but I'll add one extra. So when you're invading as a team, like let's say you invade,
Do what we
you want to get some vision in, so you ward the brush, the first one that I mentioned, then you ward the second brush, and you're gonna ward here. I'm gonna ping. What that does is it makes you 100% certain of who comes in their jungle and who goes to lane.
Okay.
And it also like lets you know if they're lane swapping or not. So those 3 wards are pretty crucial.
So is that word when you're invading, it's just early?
Yeah, yeah. You don't do that like during the mid game or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. I was gonna say I've seen that word a lot in like LCS and stuff.
Yeah, it's that ward specifically is to spot lane swaps. But it also lets you know like
find your
when they come
center.
into their own jungle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's it for map stuff.
What about
Oh, good.
jungle path is what I was gonna
Alright,
ask
so I'll just
about.
mention like one more placement. So like to flank mid lane again, you can just stand in the brush that I mentioned to ward earlier when you're invading, and you just come over the wall. Most mid laners will almost like never see it coming.
Quiet
It's actually like pretty unstoppable if you didn't have the vision to see him coming. You'll just
Okay.
die every time. As for pass, like I said, you want to do kind of analysis like I've been teaching you to do for mid lane, but for jungle, and this will dictate your pass. So like let's say you want to go top lane for whatever reason.
Okay.
So you're gonna end up starting. You're gonna start red, right? Because you don't want your bot lane to have to help you do Krugs.
Yeah.
You're gonna start red. You're gonna do the
Or-
race.
Or blue, right? Red or blue, depending on
No.
which side.
Yeah, red or blue, depending on just
I will
whichever side is bot. But
Okay,
do not
yeah.
start the
The bot buff.
the
yeah.
bot buff basically. So then
Gotcha.
you're gonna do a small camp, whichever one you feel your champion clears easier, and then you'll do the blue buff, or you'll do the top side buff, and then you'll just go on gank, right? And that
Okay.
should, if you're doing it right, you should use both your pots by that time. But you'll be around like 80% maybe,
Okay.
depending on your champion.
Okay.
So you should be healthy enough to gank.
So routes aren't like that.
No, routes are free flow nowadays. It's not like the old jungle where people had routes. Nowadays it's more you can, it's like Riot did a good job of making it so that you have the option to take whatever you want in the jungle.
Okay.
So like, and it's the opposite too. Like if you want to end up for a level 3 gank on bot side, then you can actually make your top laners. You can make your top laners leash because that won't lose the lane for them,
find your senses.
but it'll make your bot lane lose. So if you start top side, I get your top laner leash, right?
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, couldn't you start? Well, that would mean an extra camp. And
No,
then
so
put,
on
like,
top
put,
side
like,
you can
50%
start
health.
Krugs and Gromp. Like that's fine.
Okay.
Just if you're starting bot side, just don't start Krugs or Gromp.
Got it.
And I normally do tips and tricks along with when there's a bot or something like that.
I think that's all
Mhm.
all the questions I had.
If you
So-
want to be fancy, you can actually Ian Flash too on Lee Sin.
What do you mean?
You
Oh,
can. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
did it. It has no real application, but I mean, sometimes if you want to look cool.
the style points.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but I've never had to do it in a real game to score a kill. I guess maybe if you're like trying to chase a Rengar down or something, you want stealth.
We do what we
That's pretty
must.
awesome. Can't you do it that with all channeled abilities? Like if it's got a
Mm,
cast time?
Well, some are special than others, or more special.
Like I know like Ari Charm can do it.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
some abilities can't. Like Sona Ultimate, you cannot ulti flash on Sona.
Huh. I know you can pulverize.
Yeah,
Pulverize.
there's a lot of different abilities you can do it with, but
Master yourself.
for some odd reason, like some just like they don't compute.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So jungle routes don't change based on your champion. Like you do the
No.
same route for
No.
every jungler.
There's a Rek'Sai cheese that you can do. You start. So let's say I'd only do it on blue side. So
Okay.
here's what you do. So this is a blue side Rek'Sai cheese. So you start. This is the only time you start Krugs because it won't matter if you put your lane behind. So make them leash you on Krugs, and then go do red,
Okay.
and then go do race, and then just gank bot. You'll be level 3. You can level 3 gank bot with just red buff, and because they saw your bot lane leashing, and they know they leash because your bot lane's gonna like spend mana and be really late.
Yeah.
They'll think you're going top side, but you'll end up level 3 Rek'Sai bot, and it'll work maybe 80% of the time. I've almost never had to fail.
Why does that only work on Rek'Sai?
Rek'Sai doesn't need blue. If her blue gets stolen, it has 0 impact on her.
I will atone.
Oh. Gotcha.
On other champions, you risk losing your blue. Like if J4 loses his blue, he's like, oh, like that's bad. You know, if Pantheon loses
Yeah.
his blue, like that's bad. Even Lee Sin loses his blue, like it's bad. But Rek'Sai, like, no big deal. Because it doesn't affect your
Interesting.
clear at all. So that's like a small Rek'Sai cheese you can do. It'll even work in competitive play.
Cool. Have you,
One
have you been seeing much Rek'Sai in like,
Yeah.
competitive?
yeah, banned every game.
Really?
Yeah, unless there's sometimes when you scrim, there's like a treaty. Neither team bans anything, so they leave all OPs open. So in those cases, I've seen Rek'Sai in scrims, but
That's interesting. Why is he so strong? I mean, like what's her like power? Just her
I-
tunnels?
all the tunnels and the mobility is really good. For one thing, she's one of the only junglers that can poke. That's like a pretty big deal. She has really good engage, and you can't underestimate global pressure on a jungler.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And just her overall brawling potential is really strong. She's just overall just like a really solid jungler. Like if someone has asked me like why Lee Sin's good, I would be like, can't really
Yeah.
explain. Lee Sin's just good. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, minions executed me, but yeah, Rek'Sai's just I'd say pretty much the best jungler right now. If Rek'Sai's open, then I would pick Rek'Sai every game.
Well, I've been doing it in solo queue and I've been doing really, really well. But
Yeah.
it was just like I'm just like kind of screwing around because I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not a jungle main, but I've been playing Rek'Sai top and I think she's like phenomenal. And so I've been playing her jungle and I think she's awesome too. So
Yeah, she's
I mean-
like I said, definitely the strongest jungler.
Where am I needed?
that's awesome. Do you think a Sightstone build on her would work?
Nah,
No.
I
just-
wouldn't.
Do you just build it the same as like Lee Sin and
Master
J4
yourself.
is like
Master the enemy.
like 1 damage item or 2 and then tank?
Yeah, that's the same thing for her.
Okay. All right. I think are we out of time now?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I have a scrim to go to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright.
So do you want to plan on next Sunday? Can you do next Sunday?
And
Or,
what's the date
like,
on that?
It's coming Sunday.
It's coming. I can do this Sunday, yeah.
The 4th.
Yeah, I can do the 4th.
Okay.
Alright.
So what time?
Anytime that's good for you. Just sign up and I'll
On
accept
here.
it if I can do it.
On
Oh,
here.
on the website, yeah.
Uh,
Actually, well, what's a good time for you? I'm pretty open.
Uh,
Worry not.
7 or 8, whichever works. If you don't
Alright.
like late, 7 works.
Um,
If you'd prefer later, then 8 works.
yeah, we'll do. Is 6 okay?
Yeah,
Like
that
6
works.
EST. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
6 EST just like this time. So
Okay.
I might have more scrims or something.
Okay.
So I have tryouts.
I was gonna say, how'd your tryouts go? I know you
They
did
went
good.
pretty well. It's down to me and Golden Glue.
For mid lane.
Yeah.
What team?
For
I probably haven't
the
heard of them.
team that has Shorter Ace, Chunky, Neon Tanso as AD carry.
Okay.
So
They just got disbanded, didn't they? Or well, yeah.
Fusion's Fusion like still there, but he's trying out. We got a couple other really strong AD carries trying out. So it's like a really like strong high elo team.
Awesome.
Also still in the running for the C9 and CLG Black tryouts, but for that one it's now just me and Golden Glue. Those have been running for longer.
Atone.
C9.
C9 has an amateur team that they're making.
Oh, that's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah, and so does CLG.
Awesome. I'll have to look out for you.
Yep. So hopefully I make it onto one of those teams. I'm fairly confident I'll make it on at least one.
Yeah.
So that should be good because it's been a while since I've played competitive.
Waste not a minute.
It's been a couple months.
Okay. Well,
Alright,
I
so
think that's it.
yeah, I'll see you next time, man.
Yep. Thank you.
Peace. No
See
problem.
ya.